Welcome. According to a new interesting article at financialplanning.com, brokerage firms continue to talk a good game when it comes to social media, but few are actually doing anything about it. Here to talk about this article is Mark Wahlstrom. He's a structured settlement expert and president of Sequence Media. Welcome back, Mark.
Scott, glad to be here. Thanks for calling me in.
Well, Mark, it sounds like there's a lot of intent on advisors and companies' part, but what's holding everybody back?
Well, I think the biggest issue here, and I'm sure we provide a link to this story in the content that we're putting out, is you have a lot of people who are talking about engaging in social media. You have a lot of brokers and planners and financial experts who want to take advantage of it, but there's a paralysis because they really don't know what FINRA, who is the governing body on this, is going to allow and what they're not going to allow. I mean, one of the things they mentioned in the story is there's a requirement to keep 6 years of Facebook content as a compliance record, and that's a pretty onerous and scary thing for a lot of people. So I think the lack of certainty as to what FINRA is going to allow or what they might disallow, I guess, is really more of a concern, is what's keeping everyone out of the game.
And Mark, do you think then that these compliance guidelines will be as restrictive as everyone fears?
You know, I don't think so. Right now, one of the biggest issues that we're facing in working with professionals around the country is this regulatory issue about communication. Whether somebody's a financial planner, whether they're an insurance agent, structured settlement professional, annuity expert, they all have varying degrees of concern about compliance, and compliance has gotten really tight about client communication, and client communication is a very broad category. You know, it used to just simply mean your written correspondence and email, and now it's gone to, in the internet age, what you put on your weblog, whether you're on LinkedIn, if you have a Facebook page, if you Twitter, even all the way down to instant messaging now has to be kept categorized and reviewed by a lot of compliance departments. So some people just say, I'd like to be part of it, but I don't know what to do, and the penalties are so severe in cases if you do it wrong, people have just decided to sit on the sidelines. But I don't think the penalties are going to be as strict as people fear, but the compliance departments are taking a position of, you know, an abundance of caution and are really cracking down on what people are allowed to do and not do.
So what will happen to those who remain on the sidelines?
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a gradual acceptance of certain things. I mean, for example, the one thing that seems to be universal, as the article points out, and I've noticed in my own experience in our own professional practice here at the studio, is that LinkedIn is generally the most accepted and most used vehicle among the social media sites because it's easy to be followed by a compliance department. It's largely a video, or I shouldn't say video, it's a print brochure that's on the internet that people can check, and it's easy for a compliance department to also join and be part of that LinkedIn network so they can monitor it. The more problematic are the social websites such as Facebook, Twitter, that are harder to monitor, harder to follow, particularly if you have 500, 1,000, 1,500 reps that are part of a compliance department's oversight. They simply can't follow them all, and they don't know what everyone's saying, so they just say, don't say anything.
So is it safe to say then to hesitate is to be lost, that if you don't begin at least exploring the opportunities out there, you'll just simply get run over?
Well, I think what's going to happen is that the people who work with their compliance departments and get ahead of the game and get this stuff done are going to have a huge strategic advantage, and also a huge advantage in you know, the issues of, you know, being in some of these directories, being in LinkedIn, being in some of these third-party sites that give them great SEO, as well as the ability to communicate with their clients. I think once people understand the value of these programs is to collect your clients, to be in contact with your customers, and to do a better job, I think really some of the compliance departments will back off, and I think FINRA will kind of stop some of this gross overreaction. But you know, anybody who isn't actively doing it and is using their compliance department as an excuse, I think they do simply risk being run over by the people who are progressive, by the people who are working with their compliance departments, and are crafting things that work and communicate in a compliance way. Social media is not going away, Scott. It's only getting more prevalent, and the companies will eventually get ahead of this game, and the guys who are leading the pack, they'll be the ones that certainly benefit in the long run.
He is Mark Wahlstrom. He is a structured settlement expert and president of Sequence Media. I'm Scott Drake. Thanks for watching.